Yes, it absolutely does stink. How you guys doing? Jared Fuller here. Today is Sunday, April 5th, 2020. Joining me off camera this week is Amy. Dad's still asleep. And speaking of Dad, tomorrow is his birthday. He says 26, but, he'll actually be 62. I didn't say anything. You didn't hear it from me. So glad you could join me for another week of the Sunday video update. I hope you've all been doing well with this week number 2, I think it is, of the quarantining and the self-isolation due to the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak, the pandemic. Now, you may be seeing this video on a Monday or whatever this video uploads to my channel. And it's going to be late because my ISP is currently down. I don't know what the situation is with that. I have unplugged the modem, plugged it back in. Still no internet. Hopefully it self-corrects, or I might have to call my phone company, my ISP, and find out what the hell is going on with the service. Why is the internet down? But the video itself is still recording. I'm still able to record and edit and do all that stuff, but I just can't upload it in a timely fashion. So you're probably going to see this on a Monday or a Tuesday or whenever you get around to giving my video the thumbs down or the thumbs up, depending on if you're a nice person or just a plain jackass. But how you been, Amy?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't even realize yesterday or the other day was my mom's birthday.
Yesterday, April 4th. Yesterday was her mom's birthday. She passed away. When did she pass away?
2010.
It's been 10 years then.
Yeah.
She would have been 76 yesterday. My dad, as I pointed out at the top of the video, he will be 62 tomorrow. And my...
Who knows what we're going to do for his birthday because we're in quarantine.
Yeah, what can you do? We're all being...
We can only do the suggestion he said, put beers in.
Well, that was my suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
That was my suggestion.
We can always do that in each room for him.
Well, because I think I pointed that out in last week's video that because we have 6 rooms in the house, I was going to buy a 6-pack of Busch Light and put a bottle in each room and go bar hopping and praise the bartender for not cutting off the water. But yeah, I don't know what Dad has planned. There's really not much we can do because of the coronavirus and all the businesses are closed. So he can't go to the bars. He can order takeout, I think. Most bars, the bar-restaurant combination, they haven't discontinued their takeout or delivery, but we just can't eat inside the diner. We can't eat inside the bar. We can't do a lot of things right now. I was at Walmart in Owasso last week, and it looks like a war zone because they're funneling all the customers through one end of the store, which is the east end of the store, the grocery side of Walmart. And they've got yellow caution tape, so you have to maneuver around that. And when you walk in, there's actual stickers on the floor that says social distancing 6 feet apart. And I went back to the electronics because I had to get a new keyboard. Because the other one I accidentally spilt Pepsi on. So sorry about the vibration on the mic there from the keyboard brushing against it. But so I had to get a new keyboard last week, and there's yellow tape on the floor, almost like designated parking spaces for humans. It's really, the world right now is in shambles. It is a great big shit show. And I don't know what's going to come about this week. We had some celebrities pass away. Country singer Joe Diffie had passed away last week. He was 61 years old, and I grew up listening to Joe Diffie. He had a lot of country hits. And my Uncle Keith Perkins had passed away. He had been battling cancer for quite some time. I think it was cancer. I don't want to get that information wrong. But he passed away. He was 63. There's just a lot going on, and because of the pandemic, funerals are actually being limited to so many people at a time, and so a lot of the families, and as much as this really sucks for everybody, a lot of the families have just decided to do cremation, although that may or may not have already been in the person's wishes. Cremation seems to be the pick. I don't know if Uncle Keith was cremated though.
No. He was buried in
Oh yeah, that's right. He was buried out in Vernon, I think.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine someone going against the wishes of the person who passed away. I don't know.
They were, I guess, with Uncle Keith's funeral, instead of doing 5 people in at a time,
Yeah.
they were letting at least 50 people in
Oh.
for the funeral.
I heard. I've been, and the thing about this pandemic, I continue. Another week of conflicting stories and conflicting information. One news source says this, another news source says that. Then I hear from individual people who may or may not be reputable sources themselves. I've been hearing all kinds of conflicting details and information regarding what's going on, what's happening with this coronavirus stimulus check that Americans are supposed to be receiving. I keep getting all kinds of conflicting information about that. And I keep hearing that this extension of social distancing and quarantining could last until as late as August. I hope that is not the case, because that includes our entire fucking summer. Our summer's gone. This is why, and it's part of the reason why, we all need to do our part and just not go out if we don't have to go out. Stay home and flatten the curve, as they've been saying for the past couple weeks. We need to take this more seriously. People need to not leave home if they don't have to. Only leave if necessary. And that's what we've been doing for the most part, necessary travel. I mean, we were in Owasso last week. We had to pick up some essential items from Walmart. And, that's basically what we do. Travel only when necessary. Yesterday, I ordered a pizza from the local Hungry Howie's, and it was pretty good. So eating, that is a necessity. I mean, I could have whipped something up here at the house, but I was craving pizza, so I ordered a Hungry Howie's pizza and a box of their cheese bread, I think it is, and it was good. I love Hungry Howie's pizza. Never used to be a fan of it before, but I started to eat there more often, and I love their pizza. It's a little bit more pricey than Little Caesars, but I can't eat Little Caesars pizza because of the grease. I think that's something we've all agreed on here at this house. That Hungry Howie's is just much, much better. And like I said, I'm going to pay a little more, but, the thing about the hot and ready is that it's just cheese and pepperoni and grease. Yeah. And it upsets my stomach. That's why I can't eat it. But Hungry Howie's, I usually just get bacon, sausage, and pepperoni, and I get their garlic flavored crust. And I get a box of their cheese bread. So it came out to around $20 for all that, and it was good. So that's what we had last night for supper. We had pizza. I almost said Little Caesars. Hungry Howie's pizza. I don't know. Maybe Dad will be waking up here anytime. If not, I don't know. It doesn't matter either way. I'm still going to go on with the video, of course. I hope you've all been doing well and staying healthy. My cousin Tammy McTaggart, she's from Jackson, Michigan. She tested positive for COVID-19, and I've been keeping in contact periodically, talking with her in Messenger and all that jazz. But she has tested positive for COVID-19. And she's quarantining right now. She's doing the 2-week quarantine as required, or should I say recommended by the CDC. And I guess now the CDC is recommending that all Americans wear masks. Now, it's recommended, it's not required. There's a difference. Required means you have to do it, and recommended means you can if you want to. But they are recommending that everybody wear masks. Maybe, he might be getting up. I've been doing okay for the most part. My nose itches, it just won't stop. I've been doing okay. I don't know what's going on with the ISP. It's driving me crazy because my modem is flashing red where it should be flashing green or just a solid green. It's a red. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if any other customer is having the same experiences, but this is really frustrating. And Dad is awake. He's just now sitting up. I think there's coffee out there, Dad. Is there coffee out there, Amy?
Yeah, I'm going to get him a cup here in a minute, buddy.
I was, I was on Owasso last week. Walmart looks like a war zone. I don't think people are taking this nearly as seriously as they should. And I think, that's a grand mistake by not taking this as seriously as you should. If you don't have to leave home, don't. I can't take this sitting home all the time. It's just a big shit sandwich that everybody has to take a great big bite out of, including us. The people here in this house, probably most of you watching at home or on your cell phones or computers or wherever you're watching this from. Thanks for watching, by the way. It's something we all have to do. And it's if you want this to go away, and if you want for our lives to get back to where they were before all of this went down, you have to do your part and follow the fucking rules. And it's that plain and simple. Follow the rules. So how was your week, Dad? Tiresome. Yep. We don't have coronavirus, by the way. You hear him cough. He wakes up coughing like this every morning. Allergies are always an issue, and seasonal allergies, especially this time of the year. As I pointed out last week and the week before that, seasonal allergies are something that really that we suffer with, and it's usually around this time every year because. Will excuse you, but that's what we deal with, seasonal allergies. So.
But then I heard yesterday, Jared, that they said that gas mask.
Yeah.
It ain't that the people that's sick should be wearing it, not the ones that ain't, because he said, well, we're protecting them from you. People with viruses, they're protecting them from us or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't get sick. It ain't us.
And I think too, like when you, because even the hospitals are really cracking down right now on, you can't just go and casually visit people. As far as I know, I could be wrong about that. I haven't heard any differently about that. Unless you're a parent of a minor, then of course there has to be a legal guardian there at all times. But they're saying that if it's the people who aren't sick, they're saying the people who aren't sick shouldn't wear masks.
The people that they're saying the people that aren't sick.
Okay.
Shouldn't wear them.
But
I don't know. It's all screwed up.
I don't know. See, I don't know. That's what I was talking about at the top of the video. There's so much conflicting, information that one bit of information supersedes or it just kind of overlaps previous information. I can understand if we're I can understand if we're improving on information, but we have information that is conflicting.
Just like from Whitmer. He
So
tells
I
us,
don't know.
Get out and enjoy the sunshine. Get out and go take your dog for a walk. Go to the park, but stay 10 or 6 feet away from each other. Then all of a sudden, people are getting fines for doing the things that we're told they could do.
Well, see, I was at the post office last week too,
Bullshit.
and they have sheets of plastic suspended from the ceiling to protect the customer from the employee, just in case the customer has a cough or a sneeze. It's going to protect the employee. I have, and they're only allowing one customer in the lobby at a time. I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. I don't think any of us has. Any person living today has probably never seen anything like this ever. It's crazy right now. It's an entirely, completely different world we're living in right now. I hope this is temporary and goes away quickly. But again, like I said, it'll go away a lot faster if people adhere to the rules and not act like Superman and think that they are invincible to what's going on. Because what you think you may be invincible to this, but what you're doing is you're putting other people at risk who may be highly susceptible, which is not only lazy and stupid, but dangerous. And you should probably just follow the rules like everybody else and not leave home if you don't have to. As for myself, I'm doing okay. I'm, hanging in there. I'm toughing it out, and I'm just keeping to myself and only leaving home when necessary. And I haven't heard from my friends though. I don't know what's going on with that. They claim to be either too busy or just whatever. But I'm not whining or complaining. I understand people have lives. They do get busy, and I've been busy when I have to go out and do things. But it would be nice to hear from some of my friends once in a while. Oh yeah, I was gonna text you. Yeah, well, gonna and actually doing are two different things. You could have texted me, but you didn't. It had taken for me to text you first to say, oh, I was gonna text you. Okay. All right. Whatever. But I probably shouldn't make such a big deal about that, but I'm gonna, because we're all dealing with this together, or as they're saying, we're all in this together. We are all in this together. But even when I'm stuck at home, well, actually, I wouldn't say stuck at home. I'm safe at home. I still would like to hear from people. I don't know. Social media seems to be the saving grace of everybody, because if you can't go out and actually physically see people, you can still keep in contact with people. That is, if your internet doesn't go down like mine did. I'm actually using, my phone's going off data instead of the Wi-Fi. Man, that drives me crazy. I don't know why it's acting like this, but it is, and hopefully it self-corrects. Dad and Amy are out in the kitchen getting coffee, and I'm just sitting here randomly, mindlessly babbling. But that's okay. We're expecting a warm up here in Michigan. I think it's supposed to be close to 70 by Tuesday. So it's starting to feel like spring outside. At least we're starting to get warm weather. I think we're pretty much done with the cold and the snow, hopefully. I don't know if I hope they're not predicting more snow, but it still kind of gets chilly at night. But other than that, it warms up during the day, so that's always nice. And hopefully, like I said, this corona stuff won't last too much longer, and we can get out and enjoy the fresh air. They're telling us that we can still go out. We can go for walks. We can walk the dog. Like Dad pointed out, Governor Whitmer said that we can't, or we can go to the park, but then in the same breath, I also heard that if we get caught outside, we could be fined, like $1,000 or something like that. Maybe I'm getting the information wrong, and I don't want to pass along any inaccurate information. But, you know, that's the way of the world right now. We all just have to be cooperative and do our part and suck it up as best we can. And I wanted to do a special shout out to my buddy Joe Smith, who lives in Salina, Kansas, I think is how you pronounce it, or Salina. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of things. But hey, Joe, my buddy Joe watches my YouTube channel and looks out for the videos every week. This week it's going to get to you late because, again, having issues with my ISP. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully I can get this issue resolved. And I want to shout out to just all of our truckers and our frontline workers and all of our medical staff, oncologists, doctors, RNs, CNAs, all of you. If you are in any way, shape, or form employed in the medical field, we thank you. We love you. We're thinking about you every day, and your service is greatly appreciated among the masses, the people who count on you to protect us and help keep us safe and healthy. So thank you for that. And anybody else involved in you know, like shipping goods, our truckers. I know a lot of parents are going stir crazy because the kids are home constantly, which may or may not be a good thing. A lot of parents are enjoying it. Some parents aren't, because if you have kids who like to, you know, the sibling rivalry, if they like to fight and make commotion and noise, that can present a problem. But all in all, your kids are home, they're safe. Maybe they're healthy, maybe they're not. Either way, they are in your care, they are in your presence, and they are in your protection. And you know, be grateful. Be grateful that you still have children. The thing is, too, about this whole coronavirus situation is that it's opening the eyes of this nation, actually not just America, but the world, in terms of being germ conscious, which those of us in the pediatric oncology world, naturally part of that, we understand fully, to the extent of germs, the kinds of havoc that germs can wreak on people, especially those with immunocompromised systems and people who are highly susceptible to catching things, as myself. We understand germs. We've understood germs for years. And it's one of the reasons why most parents are very conscious about germs. And that's how it should be. I don't buy into the whole special germs kind of thing. I don't believe in that for a second. There is no such thing as a special germ. Germs are germs, period. And, you know, it doesn't matter who you're around or who you're with. Oh, he's used to my germs. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You're not used to somebody's germs. Because they can be around other people who are potentially contaminated. They cough or sneeze on you, then they transfer that back to the person who they thought that their special germs worked magic, which is absolute bullshit to me. Germs are germs. And when you contract something, you can pass it on to other people to contract it. And then it becomes chaotic and it becomes madness and out of control. So please just do your part and distance yourself and do the video chatting or text messaging or whatever you prefer. Do what you got to do to stay healthy, but at the same time stay connected with your loved ones and close family and friends, because it's important. It's vital right now, because we are social beings. We crave social interaction. What are you doing?
Giving you something to drink.
I had some coffee here.
Oh, I didn't know because the coffee's done, so I thought I'd bring that out.
Well,
when you're done.
after I'm done with the coffee, I'm going to switch to Pepsi anyway. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Because we're a social. The thing about human beings is that we're social, and this is like cutting off one of our senses. This coronavirus, we can't physically be in each other's presence because of the fear of spreading the virus, not knowing if we're contaminated with it. I'm not contaminated with it. I mean, I feel okay. I'm not, experiencing any of the symptoms. But COVID is a contagion, and you have to understand that as far as germs are concerned, there's no such thing as special germs. You're going to go in the bedroom? Okay, bye. But,
Tripping over everything on my way.
and, just to kind of touch briefly on this, I'm the only one in the room right now. She's going in the bedroom. Dad should be coming out shortly. I hear a bathroom door, so he should be coming back in here in a minute
Coffee,
with a coffee. Well, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Amy.
Yeah, brat. But how you doing, Dad?
I'm
Doing all right? Get your cup of coffee? Yeah.
I don't know. This stuff is driving people nuts.
It is.
They
It's.
can't go out. They can't see their loved ones. Can't see their families in the nursing homes or, anything.
Yeah, it's
But I wish
bad.
she'd make up her mind.
Yeah, I was just talking about
6
that.
foot apart or 60 foot apart.
Well, it's not Whitmer that came up with that. The CDC is recommending that people maintain a distance of 6 feet.
What is 6 foot though? It comes thousands.
Yeah,
of
I know.
fucking
I
miles.
know. I pointed that out.
Retarded.
Well, I wouldn't say retarded.
It is.
Well, it's not a word I would want to use, but
Stupid.
okay, that's better. You have a contagion, and I pointed this out a long time ago. Something that if it's overspread for thousands of miles, and yet somehow 6 feet is going to make or break. That was where I used to be in my thinking, but then I started to educate myself a little better, and they're telling you to keep a distance of 6 feet because when you cough or sneeze, when it goes out so far and then it drops. So
True.
well, actually, there is some truth to that. When you cough or sneeze, it drops.
But this is my theory on this coronavirus, Jared. All them people were out on that ship. How did that ship get up when they're out in the ocean? Thousands and thousands of miles
I don't know.
in the ocean.
I don't know. There's a lot of speculation about all of this, and I'll admit that I speculated a lot, and I had gone without actually looking at things and understanding.
Something out there they're not telling us about.
But again, there's a lot of conflicting information. There's this story, and then it's in contradiction with this story. And who do we what do we go by? Somebody's got to make up our minds here. Do we go by this method or do we go by this method? Do we take this information or do we take that information? What do we do? I would just rather avoid the confusion and not leave home if I don't have to.
And this is my theory on the stuff too, Jared. How do you know when a truck brings the stuff from a different place? How do you know that, like milk, for instance, a gallon of milk? How do you know that's not contaminated? They put it in the stores and people buy it or touch it. Oh, I don't want it.
Yeah, they grab it and put it back, and they could be contaminated. And this is where I kind of get confused because
The martial law and stuff, everybody.
listen though, this is where I get confused because one minute they say it's an upper respiratory, then they say it lives on your skin.
Yeah.
And if it lives on your skin, and they tell you don't touch your face. So if it's upper respiratory, and it can live on the outside of your body, so
You can live on different things.
What's that?
They can't live on.
Yeah, they tell you to spray down like metal surfaces and
Yeah.
countertops and things like that. Wipe it down really good. Scrubbing and cleaning and incessant hand washing. It's all very confusing. It's a lot to take at once. All I can say is I understand germs. I understand germs. I understand physics. I understand how gravity acts on particles. For everything else, I don't know. It's all up in the air for me. I'm just staying home. I don't. I don't know. But we've been hearing about this. We've been hearing about this on television and social media, whatever, for 2 weeks solid now. Solid 2 weeks. It's all they've talked about. People are getting sick of it. And
Talking about all the deaths.
they talk about everything relating to COVID.
Yeah, but they're talking mostly about how many people died. They haven't said how many people survived it.
Well, they actually have. They have released numbers of people who've recovered.
Talk about that. Talk about that too.
They have. They've talked about the people who have recovered. They've released numbers, and the numbers continually rise in both recovery and in death, unfortunately. But at least we have a number of recoveries that are on the increase, which is good news.
Real good news.
And there's talk of this Tiger King. It's a Netflix series. I don't watch Netflix. A very sweet friend of mine had given me her email and password and says, you better go watch Netflix. Log into my account. I give you permission. Go watch it. I'm not a Netflix person, and even with the internet being down, I couldn't watch it right now, even if I wanted to. I've never been a Netflix person. I don't get into that stuff. I just don't understand. I don't get into any of it. There's people who talk about the Netflix series. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't watch Netflix. I don't have a subscription. It's like the video games, the Xbox and all that stuff. I don't know what any of that is. I don't have an Xbox. I must be like the only person out of my circle of friends who doesn't have an Xbox.
No, we like the other things better.
Give me an Atari, give me a regular Nintendo, give me a Super Nintendo, give me an arcade, one of the upright machines with a joystick. I'll play that fucker all day long.
Now you're talking.
Not the stupid Xbox shit. I just, you can keep
Now
it.
you're talking.
Nah, you can keep the new stuff. Give me a Sega Genesis. I'll play a Sega. Give me a Game Boy. A lot of kids this day and age don't know what a Game Boy is. I had a Game Boy, and it was a see-through Game Boy, and it was Super Mario.
You don't throw your pop today, huh?
And I'm not going to spill my pop because that's what happened last time. I had to get the new keyboard that I had held up in front of you. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. It's flashing red on the modem. I don't know why. I've unplugged it 3 times. I've waited, plugged it back in, and it's still saying no service. I try to call them, but then it'll disconnect me.
And if you noticed, Jared, I don't know if you mentioned this,
What?
seen a lot of rockets out in airplanes and stuff yesterday.
Yeah, which kind of, it's kind of a glimmer of hope, actually, because you said rockets?
Well,
Jet fuel, not rockets.
I'm not jets. I don't know why I said rockets, but jets.
Probably because you're still half asleep.
Well, because they got that stream of
No,
fuel behind them.
that's jet fuel.
Jet fuel.
Yeah, I saw a couple of jets the other day, which kind of gives me a glimmer of hope. I'm thinking maybe those are jets that are shipping medical supplies. That's what I'm thinking. I'm guessing maybe. I could be wrong.
Nobody ever said,
Because who's traveling right now?
well, the jet fuel, where that goes.
Because
It comes down.
haven't we grounded all of our flights? Like
Yeah.
nobody's traveling right now.
Nobody's traveling.
So I'm guessing the jets that we're seeing at the moment is
Jets,
the jets that are
and there's regular airplanes.
carrying medical supplies.
Regular airplanes.
Well, the Cessna planes are privately
What was
owned.
that one thing thing we seen good. Fly over our buddies.
That was a glider.
Yeah.
I'm talking commercial traveling like Delta and
And they got and I give a lot of credit to
United and all that.
making those masks and everything. And
Yeah. General Motors has been ordered by Trump to start making
face masks, gloves.
yeah,
Those.
the machines, the
Yeah.
breathing machines. There's just a lot of information to go over, and it's overwhelming, and it's
And I think that's what scares the people when they say we got to make more of this and this and this.
yeah.
That's
The
what
hospitals
we
are running low, and
There's not enough room in hospitals. Well, Mr. Trump, use your motel, Trump Plaza, for a hospital.
There you go. Well, it's like I pointed out too, kind of a joke to help ease the tension of what's going on. The 1920s were known as the Roaring 20s. The 2020s are known as the Rolling 20s, as in rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah, that was a good one. Gotta have a little sense of humor when you're going through this. Takes the edge off. You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
You have to laugh about things. Joke around in the house.
But people dying is no laughing matter, of course. But humor helps to cope with what we can't change immediately. There's no quick fix. It's just the snap of our finger. Okay, everything's back to normal. So we got to just kind of get through it with a bit of humor. And they've even suggested that on television. Get through it with a bit of humor. You know,
It's the best medicine.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Well, I told you, Jared, like we were trained for it in the Army, they told us about things like this. They told us that things were going to get like this.
It's just really, I don't know. It's just strange to me that
Depressing.
all of this is, yeah, and it's depressing, yeah, without a doubt, but it's just really strange that we've had a flu outbreak, we've had all these other big, big shit going on, and nobody freaked out this much about germs and masks and gloves, and now all of a sudden major sports events have been canceled. There's no in-house gatherings like because last night was a WWE event. I think it was WrestleMania.
That was canceled out.
There were no people there.
Yeah.
There was no crowd in attendance, by what I understood.
How would that make them wrestlers feel? Because they're the ones that pump the wrestlers up,
So aren't they working for free then?
pretty much.
Because where are they getting their money? They're not selling merchandise. They're not making money in ticket sales.
Yeah.
And how many people's actually going to spend money?
How many actually bought tickets already
And
watch it? And
there's a lot of, I don't want to get into a red herring about that, but it's
sad.
I'm fed up with it. I'm over it. The shit has to clear up and go away.
We can get rid of this shit.
By the way, this information, rather, there's information out there. 1 minute we're being told this and that and the other, and I mentioned that there's conflicting information, but nonetheless, there's evidence, there's scientific evidence. Every time Trump gets on TV, he's got someone from the CDC up there, at least, and by what I understood, anyway, because I watched Trump the other day, and I'm not political, but Trump sounded like he was drunk. He talked like slurred speech, I don't know. But anyway, the evidence is coming from the CDC. That's all scientifically based evidence. They're passing that information on, and they're finding an increase in recovery, like we just talked about. They're also finding maybe an increase in the death. I think there is an increase in deaths related to the COVID-19. That's all statistics, which is evidence, which is part of their investigation and research and discovery about certain things.
And I have thing I want to say. I want to know why all this Kobe Bryant gets killed in a plane crash.
We knew about it then.
We knew about it then, but now all of a sudden they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. It takes them for this to happen before they put him in the Hall of Fame. He should have been in there a long time ago.
He's not alive to enjoy it. That's my.
You can't enjoy it.
I mean, it's nice that they would.
Sad.
It's nice that they want to honor him like that. Which,
It is.
okay, fine. It would have been better though if he would have been around to enjoy it,
I mean,
to live it up.
I feel bad, for the family.
But I'm not a sports fanatic, but one doesn't have to be a sports fanatic to understand that it's a human life that was tragically cut short. And when you have, okay, you want to honor him, great. That's wonderful. I'm all for it. But it would have been nice to do that when he was still alive so he can enjoy it and share in that embrace with his family, with his wife and children, and
Take it all in.
to take it all in and to embrace that moment with his family. Now he's not here and his daughter is gone. It's really a shame that it took for his death in order for him to be recognized somewhere. I don't know.
But there's a lot of wrestlers like that too, that they did.
Yeah, well, there's probably so much more to talk about, and I just can't think.
Everybody needs to pull together and do their job and do what they tell you to do, and they can get this shit knocked out. Get all this knocked out. And they said it dies when it's warm out.
Yeah, when there's hot air.
Warm out.
In the hot, humid, muggy conditions, coronavirus doesn't live. It doesn't survive
And it's nice out there today.
in muggy conditions. One can only hope.
Nice out there today.
Because if that's the case, then maybe potentially we will still have a summer. Because I don't want to sit indoors for the rest of the summer. There's places that I want to fucking travel to.
I have a week of it.
But I before we can do any traveling, we all have to stop the spread and
Until the graduating seniors, it's sad because they can't see their friends for graduation.
yeah.
Everything. That's what's really bad too. I can understand they want to keep everybody safe, but man, I feel bad for the seniors because senior graduation parties, their friends being over.
Yeah. They're missing out on all that because they have to keep a social distancing thing going on. That's
the guy that got fined $500 in Corona, Michigan, because
yeah.
he was out and Whitmer said you can go out, enjoy the sunshine, take your dog for a walk, stay 6 feet apart. Well, these guys were practicing baseball. They were a lot of feet apart. But yet, a cop comes in there and says, well, what are you doing here? Really yells at him.
Yeah.
Well, we're practicing. Well, you can't. And give one person a fine for $500. Really? You couldn't give them a warning, say, you can't do this, you have to go home. Fine, that's different. Say that and go home. But give them a fine? How's he supposed to pay that?
Someone
He can't
here.
pay it. He can't even go to the thing.
What thing?
That he can't even go to the courthouse and pay it because there's nothing open.
You say the word thing a lot. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out what thing you're referring to.
Yeah, but they can't go pay it. So how's that going to work out?
I don't know.
Put him in jail? Nah, I don't know. It's just, it makes you mad.
Yeah, it's frustrating to say the least. And the thing that's always going to frustrate me, at least one of the things that's always going to frustrate me is the self-entitled generation of brats in this day and age. Grown people act like spoiled, entitled
They do.
brats.
They do. And they're so rude.
We have people, and I've talked about this for years now, and in numerous videos, and it's still relevant to this day, now more than ever, is that we have all these selfish, spoiled, entitled fucking brats out there. When they are wrong or incorrect,
Not helping
wait. When they are wrong or incorrect about something, they cannot be corrected. They don't like to be told that they are wrong.
Nope.
And when you have someone with, brains, who comes along and says, examine this better, That's just my feeling. I'm not going to change, because if I change my mind, it'll be because Jared Fuller made me do it, and you know, we can't agree with Jared Fuller. Well, fuck you.
You know what? Oh,
You have to go by what the evidence is showing. Not based on, well, this is what I feel, and this is what a bunch of people told me, and because I just go by what people tell me instead of what's actually true. You are an idiot. Bottom line. Now, this happened to me just recently. And I'm kind of glad I'm getting into this a little bit. This happened to me just recently. I messaged someone that I used to talk to from like back in 2015, 2016. Her son is a Wilms tumor patient like I was. And we used to get along. We used to talk and everything. But then we parted ways. Because of people and their bullshit, spreading gossip and such. And I messaged her, I reached out to her, to say, I hope you're doing well, I hope your son's doing okay, I hope he's getting big, I hope your family, you know, just to try to strike up general, conversation, and just to kind of, you know, give a bit of information how I'm doing fine. And what does she do? She blocks me on Messenger, so fuck her. And it's that simple. I wish the best for your son, but as far as you go, you can fuck off. And if blocking you, or if blocking me makes you feel better, then you're just proving my point even further. You are illustrating the fact that you are one of the people in this day and age who are selfish, spoiled, entitled fucking brats, and you're grown, and that's the embarrassing part, is that you're grown and you act like a fucking high schooler.
what do you think what happened to Crystal yesterday, or the other day when we were
I don't know.
Dollar store in the middle of town, Dollar General, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Crystal walked in there, and she went to get some stuff that she needed.
Yeah.
While she walks up, and she was behind the lady. The lady turned around and said, I 6 feet back! Get back! Get back! And Crystal looks at him like, what? Get back 6 feet! Whoa, what a rude bitch. What a rude bitch.
I can't stand people who are selfish, spoiled, entitled people who, when they are incorrect and they are proven to be incorrect, they don't want to talk about. When there's a misunderstanding, there's no communication.
And that hurt her. That made her almost
Well,
cry.
there's no communication. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no communication. When there's a misunderstanding, it's, this is what I believe, and all these people wouldn't say this if it wasn't true, and you can't convince me otherwise. That's not only stupid, but it's dangerous.
Yep.
I don't care how many people tell me something, and I don't care if it's about somebody else or what have you. They better have all their ducks in a row, and they better have all their shit together, and they better be able to construct a story, or at least a case, not even a story, a case that would be convincing enough to me to consider. Because I'm telling you, this idea of a bunch of people said it, they're adhering to a number instead of adhering to evidence that points out that this is actually true. I just had this discussion with a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, actually. She's an oncology parent, by the way. And I expressly pointed out, we have people in the childhood cancer world, even alone. We have the predatory types. They want to call me a predator, which I'm not. We have people who are drug dealers, or they're drug addicts, and they are profiting off of kids. They are pretending to care so much to the point where they make themselves look good. We're engaged in the sheep shepherd mentality with societies and organizations and clubs and cliques and all the stupid stuff that means absolutely nothing. It's irrelevant. It's adjunct. It's adjacent to the actual cause. What we have are a bunch of power-tripped, greedy-ass, attention-seeking people who don't make it about the kids or the cause. They make it more about them. This is the kind of shit that is frustrating and irritating to the core. And when I started advocating in 2013, my goal, or at least at the time I thought my goal, was to work among people and walk among people. I didn't want to put myself above or beneath anybody. I wanted to work among people and walk among people and stand united as a so-called community, as most people are falsely labeling this. It's not a community. We are a subjugated demographic of a population of people affected by similar health ailments. This is not a cool, fun club to be a part of. This is not, well, I want to join in on the fun because I got to stroke my ego and I got to have my personality look masculine on social media. It's easy to do on social media. It is very easy to do if you're clever enough to pull it off. But what I'm sick of are these people who are so fucking self-centered and spoiled and self-entitled that they don't want to correct an error. They believe what they want to believe, and that's it. Jared Fuller's a bad guy? Done. Write him off. Do your homework. And it's not just me. That could be for anybody. I've been getting messages, again, just recently, about a person that I brought up a few times already. Goes by the name of Milk Tyson. That's not his real name, by the way. There's been all kinds of stuff being sent to me Messenger about this Milk Tyson guy. And I listened to a clip of a podcast that he did, openly admitting that he was kicked out of a homeless shelter for sexual harassment. He admitted it openly and gleefully in a podcast, saying that he'll sexually harass anything. I'm sorry, that's the kind of person that you want to be, that you would call a leader or a hero for your kids? Someone who sexually harasses? By the way, it came out that he's also a drug dealer, or was a drug dealer, but even still. Not a very upstanding model citizen, especially for kids. And there's parents who are taking to this guy because he's got money and connections, and that he can swoon his way over on anybody. He can manipulate anybody as long as you dangle the almighty dollar over their face like a stick and carrot. I am sick of it. And the people like me, and I'll probably catch hell for that, but I really don't care. People like me who are just so much as gossiped about when I'm trying to correct errors honestly and try to connect with people and say, the information or the gossip, that's all lies. They want to believe it. What is the evidence that convinced you that the claims that are being made about me, what evidence convinced you that this is true? There's got to be something else out there. You can't just go by what someone says. Oh, well, we have a screenshot of a claim that somebody made. Well, that's in and of itself doesn't make the claim true. You got to have some kind of evidence that would confirm the accuracy of the claim. That's what I'm still asking for. I don't want to talk about this all the time, every week, but this is an ongoing problem, and it tends to spill over into everyday life when you have people who are so self-centered and just entitled brats, which, by the way, grown people who think that they are owed everything and they shouldn't have to give anything out, especially if it's going to hurt. I am sick of people who do this. I'm sick of the egregious behavior of grown, mature people who should fucking know better, and they go around acting like cackling buffoons, thinking that it's always about them. Rant over. What are you doing? I bored my dad to tears. But I had to get that off my chest because it's ridiculous, and this self-righteousness to me is absolutely fucking repugnant. You people need to grow up.
I want to say I love you, Uncle Keith. I miss you. Sad it happened.
Well, that's an interesting.
I'm sorry I didn't go to the funeral, but you know everything going bad. I love you, and I'm gonna miss you dearly, Paula. I hope everything is working out.
I don't know if they ever watch these videos,
I
but
hope you're doing fine, and your boys are doing well, and your grandchildren and that. We're thinking about you.
okay, that was because I mentioned at the top of the video I think you were still sleeping. That Uncle Keith, our Uncle Keith passed away.
He's my uncle, and you're a great uncle.
But I don't know, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. What you do tomorrow?
I just wish people would use their heads a lot more. Because I got to tell you, Dad, I don't know, maybe I don't know what you think, but it takes a lot more than someone telling me something without actually being able to prove.
Well, you know you're not supposed to be able. You got a $5,000 fine, is what Melanie said yesterday.
Based on what source?
I didn't know it was 5,000.
This is why accuracy is important. I don't like to talk about I don't like to put out misinformation, but I also want to try, because we can't get it right every single time. Nobody's perfect. But to lazily accept things without a reason to accept it is a kind of shit that just grills me. I can't accept something. I can't accept a proposition without evidence and logic and rational discourse in the recipe for that. I can't accept it as it is, as true. You're going to have to show me something else to make this true.
Yep.
And that's what I've been asking. That's what I've been demanding this whole time, is that even with gossip and rumors, show me some proof. This isn't me saying, well, I actually did do it, and you're never going to find out because you're never going to get the evidence. No, what I'm saying is that I actually didn't do it, but I'm not specifically, expressly pointing that out, because then that would mean that the burden of proof is on me to prove that I didn't do it. How am I going to prove that I didn't do it if there's no evidence? I mean, that should be pretty self-exclamatory. It's a cul-de-sac. I can't say that I didn't do it, because then the burden of proof would be on me to prove that I didn't do it. And instead, because that's, then it gets confusing, and then I'm getting into a bit of a conundrum. What I'm saying is that people who are out there making the claims, the burden of proof is on them to demonstrate or to show evidence that the rumors and the gossip about me is actually true. Oh, well, Jared emailed me. Dad, I emailed somebody.
Yeah.
And they took it as me harassing them. No, it's only harassment when I hold your feet to the fire. That's a cop-out. Because I spot the obvious. And your high school games are over. Over. You're grown. That ship has sailed a long time ago. It's time to fucking grow up. Yeah, we can't see, as it turns out, Dad, as it turns out, we can't communicate with each other, because that would be me harassing them.
Yeah.
When all I'm saying is, well, I know what you believe. Why do you believe it?
Yeah.
What convinced you? It's no different than this pandemic going on.
No, harassment is just...
It's not harassment. Asking questions and trying to understand a person's why do they believe that? That's not harassment. It doesn't constitute as harassment. Mike Tyson, who openly admitted that he sexually harassed somebody in a homeless shelter and got kicked out as a result of that, he openly admitted that.
That's throwing himself in the fire.
He shot himself in the foot. And there's the parents of these kids, oncology parents, are still holding him up as some kind of a saint because, oh, that was a long time ago. It doesn't fucking matter. He admitted it. He admitted it, and just because he's got money and he can buy people off.
Oh, no, he don't buy them off.
He bribes them. Bribery is an actual thing happening, and I'm sad to say that some of my friends have been duped. They've been bought off by him.
And they found out different.
No, they still think he's the greatest thing that ever walked on the face of the earth, and it kind of disgusts, well, no kind about it, it fucking disgusts me. Because of the kind of person he is, and you people think that this is okay, that his behavior is acceptable. Well, because they overlooked us, not just because of the money thing, but he's doing so much and raising awareness for childhood cancer, blah, blah. What the fuck do you think I've been doing for the past 7 years now? You think I've just been asleep at the wheel?
And what, he's the only kid that had that, and he don't know
He's not even a parent of a cancer kid, let alone a childhood cancer survivor himself, but wants to play down to people's emotions, and he wants to speculate. I have a perfect analogy for people like this, the indirectly affected. That's like if there's a road, okay, with cobblestones, sharp, razor-edged cobblestones. Guys like me, being a survivor, I had to crawl on hands and knees across those cobblestones. I felt the pain. My mom and dad had to go down that path with me. They also felt an unbearable pain watching their child suffer. Then you have people like Milk Tyson and anybody else who is indirectly affected by this. They're just standing at the edge of the road speculating about the pain that we feel. And it's dishonest.
unless you went down that road, you have nothing
And
to say about
those other parents who have also went down that cobblestone path
Yep.
are turning to these indirectly affected people who cannot personally relate or talk about these things. This isn't jealousy. This is, why the fuck would you take to somebody who cannot directly have those conversations with you? Why would you hold up, oh my God, a drug dealer? Someone who openly and gleefully admits to sexual harassment. Is that something to be proud of? You think that's a joke? You think it's funny? You think that a guy like this should be around children? Talk about being stumped. Talk about coming to an impasse. Because I don't understand. I'm worked up. It's bad enough that I'm worked up about this COVID shit going on, and there's people who they don't follow evidence, and I'm trying ever so desperately to follow the evidence, but there's always just conflicting information every which way. I don't know what to think, what to go by. I'm staying home. I don't go out unless I necessarily, absolutely have to go out. I've been in this house for 2 weeks, just like many of you. I don't know which evidence I should go by. I mean, there's one set of evidence, facts, where, yes, there are deaths. The numbers are on the increase, both death and recovery.
You can't say it don't scare the shit out of you. It does.
I'm not panicked. I'm not scared, but I am concerned.
Scares the shit out of you.
It doesn't scare me. I'm concerned. Because the minute you start to live in fear, that's when everything spirals out of control. Then you lose control of yourself. I'm calm about it. I'm not scared, but I'm concerned. Because evidently it's out there. Evidently we have information. And the CDC is not just making shit up. The CDC is a well-respected organization of highly educated professionals who are doing the research in that field of expertise, and they are investigating things which is producing the results. Childhood cancer, no different. My Wilms tumor diagnosis, my oncologists and the lab techs and all the people who work behind the scenes that we don't always hear about, they have a very trained eye. They look for signatures that would indicate specific results of of investigation. That's why they do blood samples. They know what to look for. They take the vial of blood and they kind of do this, and they hold it under a light to see if there's any discoloration in blood or whatever the case may be. They have ways of investigating and recording their observations. It's no different with the CDC. That's exactly what's going on. And I keep hearing information that contradicts or supersedes previous information, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. I don't think anybody really knows. But I don't want to discredit the CDC or the FDA or the WHO because they're doing amazing work. And again, our truckers, our medical staff, everybody involved in frontline work, you're doing an outstanding job. We thank you and we love you for that. And please be safe and just continue doing what you're doing. Be healthy, stay safe, and we love and appreciate what you're doing. I know I kind of went off on a rant there. The wheels kind of fell off, but I'm sick to death. I'm appalled at the people who don't investigate things. They don't give anything a second thought. They act on instinct and think that their instincts, their inner instincts are correct. I got to tell you something. I might have a gut instinct about a lot of things, but I don't react on initial gut instinct. Okay, this was brought to my attention, but I'm going to dig a little deeper and find out what's going on. That's what any intelligent person would do. And I'm sorry, but there are a lot of stupid motherfuckers out there. Stupid. Okay, well, this is what I believe, and that's it. No. I have an instinct about something, but I don't want to go off on instinct because feelings and what's actually factually true are two different things. I could feel one thing, I could feel one way about one thing, and then the evidence is going to show otherwise. Now my feelings don't matter after that because now I have to go with what the evidence is showing. It's not hard to figure out, Dad. It's not hard to figure out at all. I should not have to explain logic and go into a rant because time and time again, I've done the fucking homework for everybody. Even the people who were years ago saying that my cancer diagnosis wasn't real. Oh, but I have the battle scars. That's evidence. See that scar there? Nephrectomy. This mark here, that's from my Broviac port from chemo. I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. And I have a little mark on my wrist, which is really hard to see, but I had a condition or a procedure called arterial blood gas. That's evidence. And I have paperwork directly from my oncologist with information. He still has the folder, the yellow folder. It's got my pathology reports. It's got all the information, how many milligrams of each chemotherapy I had taken, when I was diagnosed, when my port was removed. All that shit. That information is always there. Matter of fact, Dr. Scott even has the consent forms that you and Mom had to sign. Legally, you have to sign those. You and Mom were backed into a corner. You were backed into a very tight spot. That's evidence. It corroborates with what I share with my friends. And anybody who's interested in knowing about me being a childhood cancer survivor.
I'm not the only one that parents that were through that. I had a best friend that was, their daughter went through it.
Yeah, you're talking about Fred, right?
Right.
And Melissa, yeah.
His wife.
And it's no, I'm telling you, it's no different from the COVID. You have a lot of people who have gone through the hell of it. There's evidence suggesting that, or maybe not suggesting, there's evidence pointing to the fact that they are exhibiting symptoms of the contagion, in which case they are diagnosed or they test positive for the COVID, just like our cousin Tammy last week. She's still in quarantine. When the people recover, they talk about it.
And I hope she is doing well.
When the people recover from COVID, they talk about it. They have openly talked about this on television. It's no different from me openly talking about it here or anywhere else for that matter. It doesn't necessarily have to be YouTube. It doesn't have to be social media of any kind. It doesn't have to be on the local news. It could be person-to-person discussion. There's always evidence for what I have gone through. The fact that I still have my Jared bear, my plush bear, it came from me having cancer. That's how I got my nickname. There's evidence for this. You have to understand evidence. It's not just me saying, well, I had cancer and that's it. But, you know, I actually had people demand that I show medical charts, which is illegal. Don't know what the fuck you're talking about. If you think I'm going to violate HIPAA laws, you are sadly and sorely mistaken, because I'm not about to violate laws just to prove a point to you. The health, I'm telling you, the health world doesn't affect people few and far between. It affects everybody. Everybody. It's not just me, it's not just Dad, it's not just Amy. It's the entire fucking world. Health is a part of who we are. Can I help you? Dad wants to show me something. What? Curfew in 15 minutes for Flint residents. That was last night at 8:45.
Yep.
The city of Flint is on a curfew. Flint, Michigan. Well, that was Flint.
Yeah.
That was in Flint. But guys, listen. Please just get off your high horses. Stop being so fucking self-absorbed and selfish and self-righteous, and be considerate of evidence and facts, and, by the way, other people. There's no reason in 2020 why people can't use their brains and understand evidence, logic, and critical thinking. I mean, these are techniques, exercises of the mind that will get us further than we could ever imagine in our lives. Further than you could ever possibly understand. It's people who don't want to admit when they're wrong, when they're incorrect, when they have falsely believed something for no good reason. Because admitting you're wrong, publicly or elsewhere, there's this fear that you're going to look foolish in front of the world. No, you look foolish when you foolishly, blindly believe something for which there is no evidence to substantiate the belief. When you're wrong, you should just proudly admit, hey, I was wrong. It's part of a learning experience to admit when you're wrong. You don't have to admit it to the world. Admit it to yourself. Hey, I was wrong. This is part of the expansion process of learning. That's how we have made it to such great endeavors with technology. We are standing on the shoulders of pioneers of technology who initially came out with an idea, and we've only improved on that because we've made mistakes along the way, and we've learned from those mistakes, and we've improved upon those mistakes. It's no different than evidence, than a rumor that, you know what, I was wrong about that before. Let me do some investigation. Just because someone says something, it doesn't mean that it's true. There's got to be something else out there that would confirm the accuracy of the claim being made. It's not difficult to understand. Medicine is science, and we're all affected by it. And this thing about sneezing and coughing, yes, that is also scientific, because if you have a firm understanding about physics, you would understand a lot more about droplets of when you sneeze and when you cough. You don't need to be a scientist to understand this. You just need to have an understanding of physics. This is real stuff happening. And if you have an intelligent enough mind, you would also understand the importance of empirical evidence and critical thinking.
What is it? Kobe Bryant?
I don't care. I'm not watching TV. I'm making a point here. You people need to really stop. Get off your high horse. Stop being so damn self-centered and self-righteous and get your shit together. Because we're in trouble. And that's the end of the rant. And matter of fact, end of the video. I have been here for an hour and 15 minutes. And like I said, this video is going to get to everybody later than today because my ISP is down. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that, but it's rather frustrating to say the least. Amy, she went off to the bedroom. Dad, tomorrow is your birthday.
Yeah.
So everybody, if you see my dad on Facebook, don't forget to wish him a happy birthday for Monday, April 6th.
My nephew.
And my cousin Tony, who passed away. He was killed, actually. My cousin Hunter
Yep.
and Ethan,
Yep.
my dad's great nephews, also have birthdays tomorrow.
Cool.
Which is cool, but it sucks because of the COVID. They can't have birthday parties.
For the birthday, like
Yeah.
you usually do.
Yeah. This COVID shit has taken complete control and a firm grip over our world.
We'll get through this.
We'll get through it, but right now we have to go through.
Hang in there.
We got to go through the murky waters, and we have to just tough it out. And
Do what everybody says.
you have to be diligent, and you have to be strong and brave enough to get through this. And the people we've lost along the way as a result of the COVID, it's really sad. As I pointed out earlier in the video, country legend Joe Diffie died as a result of COVID-19. Joe Diffie was one of my favorite country music singers of all time, and he was only 61.
Talk about Michigan now, good.
Dad's watching TV. I don't care about television because all I see is COVID on TV. I don't want to watch it anymore. I would rather watch YouTube. If I can get my internet to come back, I will be watching YouTube.
Yeah, doctors ain't
But I can still go on my cell phone and go off the data. So that's always a possibility as well. But I'm going to wrap up this video for now. I appreciate all of you watching and sitting through another painful, maybe potentially painful rant. Evidence is something that I will not get off. I will never get off of that need for evidence. And we have to understand what qualifies as empirical evidence or what qualifies as evidence that makes something sound convincing or something that is convincing. Now, real quick to edge in the side note, the thing about social media too is that you can make any story sound convincing or compelling enough to people who they're not learned enough or versed enough to understand what's actually true and what isn't, that they can't distinguish fact from fiction. It's difficult because now we're in the age of social media and we have people who they're convinced of everything and anything under the sun, which is really dangerous. Misinformation spreads easily.
And stop being mean to one another and help each other.
Yeah,
Good.
and put your greed to the side and
Help each other. Stop being
try to be there for
assholes
one
like
another.
that.
I just recently helped somebody. It was just last week.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm always trying to help somebody.
Yeah. Our neighbors.
Um,
I call our neighbors. I ask them if they're all right.
yeah, yeah.
Ask them if they need anything. You know.
But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, Dad. Thanks
All right.
for
Have a good, safe day, and take
Try
care
to-
of your loved ones.
try to get through the week. I don't know what we're going to do for his birthday tomorrow.
Son home, play tiddlywinks.
Yeah, what can we do? There's really not much we can do.
Walk around the yard. I gotta
Um,
I gotta fix my sink.
But anyway, thanks for watching, and I wanted to do a shout out to my brother out in Oklahoma, my warrior brother, for the nice shirt that I got some years back. Thank you again, and I will see you all next week. Peace out. Take care, guys.